this vertical series. Right now, it is untitled. It's amazing. I'm releasing it February 1st. We still don't have a title yet, but it will come. It will come.
Hello, my name is Gemma from Gemma Watches Stuff, and this is the podcast I Don't Know What We're Talking About. And today we are so very lucky to have this week Tiffany Cox joining us. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Tiffany, the way this podcast works is it's called I Don't Know What We're Talking About for a reason because today you actually have no idea what's going on. You're just here on a Zoom call. We're hanging out. We've got some topics. Before we jumped on today, you sent me an email with 5 different topics to choose from, and you don't know which one I've chosen, and we're just going to talk about that today, and that's the plan. So things here tend to get a little bit crazy and a little bit chaotic, and we might end up all over the place, but we'll see what happens. Out of the 5 topics you sent me, I'm probably gonna bite off more than I can chew. We're gonna try and get through 3 out of the 5 today because I could not just simply pick one. So we're definitely going to talk about reasonable doubt because that's where most people may know you or recognize you from would be your role on reasonable doubt. So we definitely have to cover that. We also have to talk about a vertical series that you've got coming out soon, and you didn't give me anything else other than a vertical series coming out. So I'm super intrigued and need to know. But the topic that I really want to start with today, which really was like, oh, that's new, it just said word of the year.
Yeah, of the year. Oh, good.
So what does that mean? What's word of the year?
Yes, let me explain it. So, word of the year is a practice that I began about 7 or 8 years ago, and it came from one of my coaches knowing another incredible coach when it comes to business or life and that sort of thing. And she had this worksheet to get you to finding a word of the year. And what that means is through this exercise, people do it in different ways. I like to do it through a really in-depth worksheet that this woman created. You ask questions where you reflect on where you were last year. You look at where you would like to go for the coming year. And there is a word bank with all these words. It could be every and anything. Excuse me, sorry. Inspiration, intuition, accountability, power, forgiveness. Just a huge word bank of words. And you circle the ones that are of interest to you. And again, and within my practice, and I go through a really in-depth worksheet with that. And from there, I find the word that is going to support, ground, and guide me through the year. I got to pull up some of my other ones from the past that I've had. So other words I've had were such as, I will tell you in a moment. So yeah, 2018 is when I started it. That was my first word of the year, risk. After that was compassion. 2020 was invest. And there's a slew of others from there. But this year, my word of the year is mastery. So if you and your audience follows my Instagram, which is Tiffany Yvonne Cox. If you look up Tiffany Yvonne Cox, and yes, that is with a Y for the Yvonne and a Y at the end of Tiffany, you'll find me. And then I have at least 2 or 3 posts where if you click word, or if you comment word, excuse me, if you comment word, it will send you a DM with word of the year. So you can do the same exercise as well.
That's amazing. That is so cool. So how did you end up finding this? You said in like how did this first start for you? 2018.
Right, 2018, I was a part of this mastermind group, this incredible woman named Christine Aller. She would gather about 20 to 30 artist types, and we would do a mastermind once a week together. Bring up a thing or a question that you have or something you're working on in your business as an actor or as a writer, producer, whatever, and you would receive guidance from her and from the group. And within this group, we have this incredible resource of this it's like Google Gmail group things where you can send a mass email. So she sent that. She was like, if you're ever interested in doing word of the year, check out this worksheet from somebody that I know. So it was purely from Christine Aller, and other people have versions of it, but Christine Kane's version of it, I have loved for all of these 8 years. So I give her kudos on my website as well. She's moved on to different things now, so you won't find it under her website, but I give her kudos on my website there. With Christine Kane is the one who created this and put me on this path of doing a word of the year every year.
Amazing. It's probably a bit early
Mhm.
on in the year to ask how the word mastery has shaped your year for you so far, considering we're halfway through January. or not?
Yeah, no, it's not too early. It's not too early at all because I use it every day. Like I had an audition before this, and I had a moment where I was like, okay, mastery. How would I show up in this moment if I am a master of my craft as an actor? Okay, great. So I did the audition, it was good. And then afterwards, I was like, I really want to master the world of detectives and cops and what that looks like for Tiffany. I have some more work to do. So it shows up every which way. And then also in spaces too, where it's like, well, what do I not need to be a master of? I'm in a project right now. And I was like, though I'm learning editing, it's helping me as a director as well. I don't need to be a master of editing, nor do I need to be a master of color grading. So it puts my focus. It really helps me to focus on where do I need to put my energy and time.
Hmm.
So definitely have been using it in these 20 days of January we have. At least I'm in LA, so it's been 20 days for me.
Amazing. So when you're doing like this questionnaire and you're filling out this form and it's really self-reflective by the sound of it, like you're thinking about what the previous year has meant for you because you said you started the beginning of the year with a new word, so you'd be doing
Mhm,
some self-reflection on what life was like in the previous year and how the previous year's word impacted you throughout that year and that kind of thing, and then
mhm,
answering these questions to find your new word. When you go
mhm.
through and sort of answer these questions, do you pick the word from the word bank that you think is going to
Yeah,
be
I
your year?
I do. And I mean, and when I say this word bank is huge, it's alphabetical order. It's tons of words. So even if you don't find your word in there, you can find it elsewhere. So for me personally, looking at all these words that go from A through Z, I end up circling maybe about 10. And then from there, I weed out the 10 down to five, and from five down to three words. And there from there, those three words. And actually no, this year I did four. And then while I was doing the question, I was like, this word ain't it. So it got down to three words. And then I do the word of the year questions for each of those words. And it really does reveal itself as for what word will fit really well for the goals that I desire for this coming year.
I was going to say, it sounds like something that would really help focus your ambition or your drive or your goals or your challenges. It's kind of like, the New Year's resolution thing that we all try and go, this year I'm going to accomplish this, this, and this. And it ends up
Hmm.
failing after the first week. But I really like this approach
Yeah.
because I feel like it could be so broad and anyone could do it, whether or not you're in a creative field like acting or directing or producing or whatever, or, whether or not you have a normal 9 to 5 job and you go to work, you go to the office, you go home, you could still have this word to sort of give you focus for the year. And yeah, it's such a cool concept.
Very much so. I had one year I had the word forgiveness,
Mm.
and that applies to like it's beyond work completely, and even mastery. I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two baby dragons. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old going on 6. And so I'm constantly thinking about how do I be an excellent mom to my kids? I don't think you'll ever master parenthood, but I can be in the pursuit of it. So it checks me. So even if you're like you're noted, you might have a regular 9 to 5, you might be like pretty stable like with what your day-to-day is. I think everybody always has something or some goal that they're working on, whether it be a hobby. One of my hobbies is handstand. I was like, okay, this is the year, time to master the handstand. We're gonna get it done. And what does that look like? That means me actually going to handstand class, which these do exist, guys. It's me making sure I don't miss out on a handstand just because I miss a gym day or something like that. Or if it is, I'm married, so my relationship with my husband, mastering being the best husband I can be, the best wife, or excuse me, best wife I can be, the best daughter I can be. All of that, so it can go into your personal life of how you are trying to expand in that space too.
Yeah, like it's such an all-encompassing thing. So not only in the workplace, but also in the personal and everything as well. Have you found that in the past, like looking back then at the end of the year, have the words that you've chosen always been helpful, or have you ever had an experience where you've gotten halfway through a year, or you've had a moment and you've been like, this isn't working, or this isn't fitting, or this, or
Hmm.
it's really been a struggle? Because so far in the experience, it all sounds very positive. Like you've had the word mastery, and
Yeah.
so far in the 20 days that you've had, you've already seen those highlighted bits where you've been like, yeah, this is working for me. This is my word. This is what's giving me
Hmm.
drive and focus. Has there ever been moments where you've had this word that you've had this, this view or the way that you were going to approach the year, and it's all through this word, but it hasn't quite fit or felt right, or had moments of feeling discouraged because you're not living up to the word? Does this make sense?
It does make complete sense. When does word of the year not work? That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, has it not worked before? I will tell you this. The only time it didn't work is that I chose to do two words. And the way Christine Kane built this thing, she said, really have one, but if you need to have two words, use one word for 6 months and then use the next word for another 6 months. So it was 2023, I had change. And then in June, I switched it to forgive. And that was a time where it didn't work the way it should have because I was so in the mode of change for 6 months. When it came to changing and doing forgiveness, I was still like working on the other thing.
Mhm.
And what I do is I also make sure that this word of the year is everywhere. So no matter what, I have it on my phone, I have it on my vision board, I have a vision board on my computer, so I will see the word as well. I'm this year I'm going to get a necklace so that I can have mastery on my neck. So I put that word everywhere. And again, this worksheet, it is super in depth. So not that nothing can ever be perfect, right? There can always be one where it's like, man, this isn't working right now. But I also challenge somebody, if it's not working, why is it not working? Are you afraid? Is it challenging you in ways that are uncomfortable? But also reality, right? Like sometimes things happen. You might have a health diagnosis, your family might be going through something, career changes might occur. Things happen. So allow yourself flexibility, right? That's life. But for the most part, that was the only time where like it didn't work me switching to another word because then I felt like the last 6 months I wasn't doing word of the year then. I really wasn't doing it because I wasn't grounded the way I am, where I started off with just one word for that year.
Mm. And I think it really also ties into like starting at the beginning of a new year. I don't know what it is, but when you start a new year, you get a new outlook, it's fresh, everybody has those New Year's resolutions, but you're starting again, you're starting fresh, new outlook, new year, new plan, new word, new focus. And I guess that probably really helps. And having already done it from 2018 and then trying this, two words for a year, you're already in that habit, like, because this is habit forming. Like, you've already formed, I do the
Mhm.
worksheet, I pick the word, that's my focus for the year, and then to go, okay, well, now I'm just going to do 6 months. And it's so funny that the word was changed, that you had to change from, I love that, 4 years at some
Yeah.
point. And you've been all about change, and then it came time to change, and it was a little bit like, this doesn't quite work. I can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
I love that that was the word that you got stuck on.
Right.
That's brilliant.
Right.
Um, Switching into how that works for you in a professional way, then, because let's talk a bit
Mhm.
about reasonable doubt, because that's where most people may recognize you from. Has having
Yeah.
a word of the year shaped how you work, how you go out for auditions, how you perform, how you obviously mastery will inform your craft, and so that's a little bit different in
Mhm.
this year. But thinking back during the time when you've been working on reasonable doubt, did your word of the year inform or help you mentally in that working space?
Completely. So last year, my word of the year was courage. And so, yeah, that was a good one. So if I had an inkling of a thought of something that I wanted to do, I think each of us have a piece of battling good girl syndrome, a little bit of perfectionism, that sort of world. So courage really helped me to break out of that. For example, with Reasonable Doubt, I'm an actor, but I also direct. And since I'm on an incredible show, if you haven't watched it, guys, check it out on Hulu or Disney Plus. We have 3 seasons out there, and we will start our fourth season very, very soon with filming. So I I wanted to have the courage to try something different and try something new or ask for things that I needed. So for example, I brought in this element of myself that I'm a director. I had shadowed a director in the past, and shadowing means where you go from prep through production with a director, and you literally are a fly on the wall as you watch what they're doing. And I fortunately have had really great directors where I can ask questions and give thoughts. They will look at like what my blocking is on scriptation and that kind of thing. And so last season I had kind of had to muster up the courage to ask to shadow again because I was like, well, I shadowed once before. Would they let me do it again? Am I going to be in the way? And so mustered up the courage and they said yes. So it was, and that might sound simple to some people, but again, this good girl syndrome thing of like not wanting to create any waves or stay in my lane or anything like that, that was the word courage guiding me to say, Tiffany, if you want something, go for it. All they can say is no. So try.
That's it, 100%. I love that. I love that attitude, and I love that thought because you're absolutely right. A lot of the time when people are working towards achieving something or a goal or a dream or a passion or something that they want to do, majority of the time the only thing that's in your way to achieving that is really yourself, and it's really you are in your own way, and a lot of it just comes from fear of the unknown, fear of being rejected, fear of failure, like, and it's all of these things that stop us from chasing the dream. And it's you'll never it all sounds so cheesy and so cliche, so corny, but the reason that it sounds like that is because it's true. And like your experience right there in that example speaks to it. Like if you had not asked, you would never have had that opportunity, and the only thing that was in your way is the fact that you didn't ask. And so as soon as you mustered up that courage to therefore ask the question, and the answer was yeah, sure, of course, here you go, have the opportunity, do it, then chasing the dream, living your moment, getting the opportunity to do the thing that you really wanted to do. And whether or not it was, you sort of mentioned fear of breaking out of the good girl, staying in your lane, doing the right thing, doing what is expected of you to do is sort of what you're talking about, and having that experience in, that's not who I am, that's not what I'm supposed to do, this is who I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to stay in this box and do as I'm told, and this is what is expected of me. But it's not what you
Hmm.
wanted to do. You didn't want to do
Yeah.
that. So you've taken the courage, taken the step to go and do that thing, which has then, given you all of these amazing opportunities to direct and things like that. So, I absolutely love that. I feel that there's so many people that will, yeah, hear what you've said in that experience and relate to that and go, yeah, I've had moments where I've wanted to do that and should have taken the risk, should have taken the opportunity to, step out your comfort zone and give it a shot. Because again, majority of the time, the worst that can happen is that they say no.
That's it.
But it's worth taking the shot, I think. We were talking
Right.
about reasonable doubt and your time working on
Mhm.
that, and how your word courage gave you the opportunity to shadow a director, which would have been an amazing experience.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes, it was completely amazing. And it was actually my second time shadowing. So the first time it was with our producing director, Anton Cropper, and the second time was with our, funny enough, he was just a director for season three, but he was our producing director season one, Pete Chapman. Another, he has Let's Shoot with Pete Chapman, and he directs all over the place. He's currently the producing director for, I believe, another one of the Power series that will be coming out. What a treat to be able to shadow him. And I was like, I gotta try, I gotta ask. And unfortunately, everybody said yes.
Amazing, worthwhile experience, and obviously
Mhm.
you've learned from it. So no regrets in having courage as your word for the year and following that through.
No, no regrets at all. Out of that, I mean, and not just because that is the culmination of many things, but it was that I ended up being booked on two short films as a director, not pieces I wrote, but other people that hired me on. One was one of the writers from Reasonable Doubt, so, relationships and seeing that, oh, look, Tiffany is consistently out there putting this out there. And then another one was a referral from somebody who was on Reasonable Doubt to somebody who was in they were directing, or they had another piece. I didn't know them at all. And they called upon me. I did an interview and they said, yep, she's the one. Let's do it.
Amazing.
So all of that. Yeah. Yeah. All of, these things, it's constant, I feel like within this art, and this is everything life, right? It's a little bit of Tetris. It's a little bit of connecting the dots, and all these things allowed me to expand my artistry in that way. So yeah.
How did the connecting of the dots and all these different things tie together that led you to your new vertical series? How did that come about?
Woohoo! Yes. So I am an actor first. I love to say I'm married to acting. Directing's my girlfriend. And so I have my own personal goal of I love Reasonable Doubt. I love my character of Autumn that I play on that show. I love the people that are on there. I love watching it's truly incredible craft that is happening from the writers to the crew to my fellow peers, my actors. And I also am excited for what I take from there because Reasonable Doubt will last for as long as it lasts. I don't know if it's a Grey's Anatomy that lasts for over, like 20 plus seasons. Um, but I do know that I want to be prepared for whatever's next for me for 20 plus seasons. So I wanted to make sure that I started shifting into or let me not say shifting, I'll say adding on other tools in my toolbox with other types of characters and fun and stories, and also the type of stories that I absolutely love, 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 love to play. I love watching love. I really love love. I love black love. I love dramatic comedies. That is just my world and my wheelhouse. And I play a little bit of that within Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt really is a legal drama that makes sure that we see Jax and the rest of her world um, break down and come together. I play one of the girlfriends on there, so I get a bit of that there with having that girlfriend dramedy world. But I want to sit in it. I want to sit in like a Harlem, a Sex in the City, that sort of thing. And there is all this buzz right now about verticals. And I said, you know what? Why not go ahead and take this type of storytelling that I want to do and I want to be ready for, and also take this new avenue of vertical series and go ahead and put the two together and try that out and give say yes to me versus waiting for somebody else to give me the job. Go ahead and create the job for myself. That's what I did. And that's what brought me to this vertical series. Right now, it is untitled. It's amazing. I'm releasing it February 1st. We still don't have a title yet, but it will come. It will come. Just look for my name. Just look for my name. I think I have one, but I'm waiting, but we'll see. We'll see. Look on Instagram. It will be released. We'll make a big flashy thing about it. But the piece, what it centers around, is three women who rent an Airbnb, and their buddy who rented it only rented the top. So at the bottom, there are three gentlemen who have rented the bottom. And they are there for their self-care weekend. And that self-care weekend ends up incorporating these other men in fun and love and shenanigans.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. That's amazing. I also now the one of the five dot points that you sent makes sense because there was no other context. It just says vertical series coming February 1st, and I was like, that's it. We've got to touch on that. But you didn't give me a name or a story or anything, and now I know why. There is no name. It's
Neither do I. There's no name.
you've
The script literally says untitled vertical series. It's coming.
got like a week and a bit to come up with a name. So I'm glad you've kind of
Oh
got
yeah.
an idea there. But I'm sure it will all come together.
Yes. It will come to me. It will come to me.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
That's very cool. Very excited to see it. So if you want to catch that, make sure you go follow Tiffany on Instagram so you can check it out. It's
Mhm.
going to be great. We'll share it to all of our socials when it comes out as well, so you guys can see it.
Thank
Catch it.
you.
That's amazing. Very cool. Because
Thank you.
I love. I love the idea because that's where this podcast came from. I love the idea of if you want to go make something and you want to be creative, yeah, you can have a million resumes and know people and friends of friends and get referrals and do all of that. But at the end of the day, if you want to make something, you just have to step out and make it. You just got to get out there and do it. You've got to start building it. You've got to start somewhere. Yes, you can wait for the perfect job to fall into your lap, or you can work really hard to get towards that perfect job. There's many paths to one place, but if you really want to build something and create something, I am 100% for go and do it yourself, which is how this podcast itself started in working with actors and talking about
Mm,
mental health. And that's where this stemmed from as well. So 100% we're going to support your vertical series and get it out there because the fact that you were like, yep, that's it,
thank
I'm going to
you.
go build it. We're like, yeah, let's make that happen. That's so cool. I love it.
Exactly. And, and that was part, and again, courage, because I had the courage to ask people to come and play with me. Like, there's no budget for this. This is just Tiffany doing a thing. So, using courage, my word of the year, you see, tying everything together. So, having the courage to go to the crew of Reasonable Doubt and say to these professionals, hey guys, so I'm doing something for the love of art. Will you come and play with me? And let me tell you, I received the most enthusiastic yeses from just about everyone that was available or was in town. Or even if they weren't in town, they were like, well, let me reach out and see about this person and see if they can do it, kind of deal. It was incredible. So that was another space where this beautiful show of Reasonable Doubt has volleyed my goals and dreams because building relationships and building relationships on set while I was shadowing, where I had the name and number of people or an Instagram handle to reach out and be like, hey, I'm doing this thing. We're shooting it here. Would you come and help out? I have to give a huge, I mean, everybody was incredible, but huge shout out to somebody who worked as a set deck. I reached out to him, Jeremy, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I don't know where you are. Ends up he lived in the same neighborhood as the place we were filming. And I was like, can you also do props? Props is not his thing. He's a set deck. He was like, I'll do props. He had access to a prop house. So he brought in every single thing that we needed and asked for. We needed a whole poker set. He had so apparently I didn't know this before, but like when you have a stack of money that looks really real, like hundreds and stuff like that, only prop houses can have them because they look so real, it can be used for counterfeit.
Oh,
So it has to come exactly, so it has to come from a prop house. So he was able to gather that. It was that energy is what came to set. One of the PAs, he from Reasonable Doubt, he's actually a DP. So I was like, well, look, do you want to shoot something? He said yes. He brought a second camera. So we had a second cameraman as well. And again, this is all for everybody's doing this for the love of art and the fact that they're going to get excellent footage. And also, my prayer and my plan is that we put it out there, we get an excellent audience off of social media, and then we can go shoot the other 40 episodes on a budget and I can hire all those people back because everybody really did an excellent job on there.
yeah, that's it, 100%. And the fact that it all just came together, one email, one opportunity, which ties in perfectly to back, what we were talking about before, like to just ask, to just put the message out there, to send that email, to send that Instagram message and be like, hey, this may be a bit of a long shot. This may be absolutely ridiculous. This may be like a
Yeah.
pipe dream that I'm having, but I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to ask. And then the fact that you were able to get everything you needed, doesn't do props but connected to a prop house, but has everything you needed, like the fact that that all panned out the way that it did, meant to be, like that's absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
incredible. I think
Thank you.
I think this is
Thank you.
the right time in our chat that we'll play a little bit of a game. We've had some chaos, we've had some drama here, as we always do on this podcast. Play a little bit of a game, and this game is called This or That. And basically, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to give you two different options, this or that, and you just have to pick one. Interpret the questions however you like, and explain your answer however you like. There's no right or wrong. It's this or that. And the first question that I have for you today is movies at the cinema or movies at home?
Oh, okay. Oh, this is hard. This is hard. I'm gonna say movies at the cinema.
Okay.
Movies at home are convenient because also, again, I have two baby dragons. So going to the movies is very difficult, but movies at the cinema, it is a whole different experience. Look, we all went to see Sinners at the movie theater. We went and saw it at the movie theater. Then we saw it two other times at home. And then we saw it another two times at the theater. And then also there's this cool thing called a junior theater. So for my kids, we go to the junior theater because they have a playground on the inside. So you come 15 minutes before picture. They can play. They don't start the picture until 15 minutes after the hour. So technically the kids have 30 minutes of play. Then they start the movie. They stop it halfway through. The kids play for another 15 minutes, use the bathroom, get a snack or whatever, and then they start it again.
That's so perfect.
Brilliant.
That's so perfect.
Yep.
Oh, we don't have that here in Australia. I've never heard anything like that here in Australia, but I know so many people who, I don't have kids, but I know so many people just who are like, I want to go to the movies, but I can't because my kid can't sit through a whole movie. Like, they get too rowdy, they get too restless. There's bathroom breaks every 10 minutes. Like, it just doesn't ever
Yep.
work for them. That is perfect. That is amazing. I have never
Yes.
heard of that before. I love it.
I have to give it up to Cinepolis. I had never heard of it until a parent put it on Instagram and they don't have it everywhere. There's only one in Pico Rivera, so it's about a 40-minute drive from us, but it is well worth it for us because my kids can't sit through a whole movie. They're too little for that, but they can in that world. And let me just say one more thing. We need to support movie theaters. Like it is a communal experience to laugh together, to experience a world together. And when in our house, yes, it's convenient, but it's not the same. It's not the same as going to see Wicked out at the movie theater. It's not the same thing.
That was the exact movie that I was just thinking of because I haven't been in a while, but I think the last thing I saw was Wicked for Good at the cinema, and it was just that whole environment of being there with people, and it's just the emotions feel more real. Feel they have a certain weight. Everything has a certain weight to it when you're watching a movie, and regardless of whether or not it's an action or a comedy or romance, like whatever the movie is, everything just felt more surreal. All the emotions and the impact that the movie had felt bigger, felt stronger. And when you leave the theater and you get
Mhm.
back to your car or the train or the bus or whatever, and you start heading home, and you're just sitting there going, "Wow," it just feels different. Whereas you're at home, you press pause
Completely
because
different.
pizza's here or whatever. Like it's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, look, don't get me
It's
wrong.
not the same.
Watching a movie in your pajamas in bed, or there's definitely times that is peak what you want to do.
Yes.
But the whole
Yes.
environment of going to the cinema is something different. Something different.
Different. It is completely.
Beautiful. Second question for you: road trip or a flight?
Put me on a flight any day. I road tripped all my life with my family and it was fun and it was grand. But if I can hop on a flight to get to the thing faster, give me a flight.
That
And
was
listen,
quick.
your girl right here.
You didn't give me time for that. You were like, "I'm there on the plane. Get me in." Like I ain't even waiting. Get me on that flight.
And granted, I have a dream of doing a cross country trip in America with my kids. I really look forward to that day.
That's fun.
But till that day, like, oh my gosh, like if somebody's like, "Do you want to go drive across America or go to Australia?" I'm flying to Australia. I am flying to
Well,
Australia.
listen, we would love to have you come back and visit. We were talking before we hit record that you have actually been to Australia once, and I was like, "Yes, you should
Yes.
come back. We will welcome you back with
Yes.
open arms. Come and hang out. We would love it." Um,
Yes.
Final question for you: hero or villain?
Oh,
Obviously, this one got you. Now I'm happy. This one got you.
let me tell you, and I'm gonna get a little woo-woo with this. Y'all, but rock with me, everybody. Rock with me.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm gonna say villain. I was just talking about this with MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is an honored day here in America. And I went to an MLK brunch with my church, and we were talking about Jesus. And we were like, if Jesus were here today, Jesus would be in jail, and they would villainize him because of the craziness we have happening in America. Some of these people who are villains, they're revolutionaries and just mistaken. So that's why I was like, hero or villain, but like, again, I'm stepping away from good girl syndrome. My career launched when I stopped trying to do things right and started to do things messy. And now, granted, we don't want the villains that are like hurting people. We don't want that. But but the definition of villain I'm giving right now today is somebody that's going against the grain and doing something different. And that doing something different, other people, some people might have a problem with, but honestly, it's going to help out the masses.
Mm. No, I love that 100%. That if the Jesus that was depicted in the Bible was the Jesus that was walking around here today, no matter what country or where he was, 100% would be in jail. I'm with you. He was.
Yeah,
It would not be what everybody I think thinks it would look like. I think that
exactly.
100%, 100%. So I love that distinction between hero and villain could really be in the eye of the beholder. It really depends on what
Ah, yes.
look at. It really depends on how you want to look at it and what framework
Yes.
you're looking at your hero or villain. But really, really good answer.
Yes.
I love that. That was great. Okay, cool. Well, thanks
Thank you.
for playing our little game. That's always a little bit of fun. We have
Super fun.
the hero or villain question is one that I have asked every actor that I've had on the show, and the way that everybody interprets that question and answers that question is always really fun because some people go very much like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I've only ever played villains in, you know, work that I've done. I would love to play a hero, so I'm going to pick hero." Other people think more broadly. I think like you have it interpreted as a whole. Let's step back and look at the whole concept of what it means to be a hero or the whole concept of what it means to be a villain, and let's look at it like that. Whereas other people are like, oh
Mhm.
no, villain hands down, because it's more fun to play a villain on screen than it is to play a hero on screen. I always love asking that question because there's so many different ways to answer it, and it depends on how you interpret it. So it's always a little bit of fun.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, let's jump back to Reasonable Doubt and your vertical series and some of the work that you've done. And when you did like the audition process for Reasonable Doubt, obviously with your vertical series, this is something that you took on and you were like, it's a passion project and you've got no funding behind it at this point. It's just something that you've decided, you know what, I'm going to make for the love of making art, I think is what you said, and I'm going to go out and make it happen. I love that. When you were working towards Reasonable Doubt, how was the audition process and things like that? Because obviously it's very different to say, I love making art, I'm just going to go make and do a thing, and you can create what you want, cast what you want, direct what you want, do what you want, versus an audition process to actually book or land a role. How was the whole process behind that?
Right, right, exactly. And people are always surprised to hear that I did not book it initially at all. I was released. So I auditioned for 3 or 4 different roles. I received a producer session for one of those roles. And then the producer session, that's where you have the majority of the team and decision makers. So our showrunner was there, Ramla Muhammad. Our producers were there, Kerry Washington from Simpson Street, Tamara Gregory from Wilmore Productions, and then, of course, the casting director was there. So I did the audition. I had a bunch of fun with it. I had them laughing and all types of stuff. I get out of the audition, and 30 minutes later, my manager calls me and says, "You're pinned." And I just fell to my knees and thanked God in that moment. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for." Told a friend about it because I was in this course at the moment that was saying like share your wins, let people know, do the connective tissue stuff. So because you never know who can put a good word in for you. And so I did that. That person was rooting for me, and a week passes, a second week passes, and I learned I didn't book it. So I told this same friend of mine, and she went back unbeknownst to me and said to one of the producers, it's too bad she didn't book it. She's a really good person. And then that producer said, let me see what I can do. So then a few days later, I am filling in for somebody for a reading for this incredible program, Hillman Grad, that my friend um is a director and an acting coach for. And I get a call while I'm there with him from my team. It's my manager and my agent at that time. And they're like, hey, so remember you didn't book Reasonable Doubt? I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's 9 p.m. at night, so this is all weird anyways. And they're like, so you didn't book that, but there's another like guest star role. She's a lesbian. Do you care? Are you interested? I was like, love is love. Why would I care if she's a lesbian or not? And they were like, okay, well, they want you for that role. So we're gonna take this as a yes. Congratulations. We don't know what it is beyond you being there for a day for this pilot, but we'll see. And then I get the script and I'm reading it, and there's several scenes, and I realize I'm the best friend of the lead of the show. So it went next day, went to the network in the studio who had to do approval, and they approved it. And then what, unbeknownst to me, was a recurring guest star role. This role has turned into me being with the show now for 3 seasons, going on 4 seasons.
Wow. Wow, that's insane. That's absolutely crazy. So how did you my first initial thoughts when you're explaining that, I'm like, how do you deal with the not getting the role when the disappointment in, you've worked hard towards something, you've auditioned for something. Obviously, in this circumstance, again, it just shows your character and who you are. In that this person was like, it's a shame she didn't get it. She's a good person. Like to just be recognized by somebody to being a good person shows that you got this role because not only the talent and the skill and the ability to do the job, but also you as a
Hmm.
person who you are. That's just a huge testament and a
Hmm.
congratulations to you
Yeah,
for being able to be known and recognized as she's a good person. It's a shame she didn't get it, and that because you stuck to your
right.
guns in that, you ended up getting that role. Congratulations, that's huge. That's amazing.
Thank
The
you.
story in
Thank you.
itself is so heartwarming and encouraging to hear. But when you were first explaining it, the thing that really grabbed me was this has all ended up working out for you, and that's absolutely incredible. But how do you deal with the
Hmm.
you didn't get it? moments.
Whew, talk about that. Yeah, exactly. So I have a couple, there's like some layers to it, right? So for me, usually with an audition, once I do the audition, I hang on to it, I celebrate it, I pray and hope that I get it for 24 hours. After 24 hours, I let it go. I erase that audition, I erase the sides from it and all, and I just go ahead and say that I didn't book it. I don't know if that's a healthy approach, but that's what I've been doing for my mental health.
Yeah.
Because sitting around and waiting and hoping that maybe it's me, that maybe I hear about getting pinned or a veil or something like that. I'm like, no, I gotta move on. I have other yeses to grab. I cannot wait for this particular one here. So that's one of the layers, right? Because I had let go of reasonable doubt when I did like those first three auditions. I did it, I erased it and let it go. And also, as we know, well, I should say actors, that when you get called in for another role, that's a callback. That is a callback because they're interested in you. But yeah, so for me and my brain, I had to let it go. So then there's also the world in which, oh, you get pinned. And let me say for us, I don't know if you guys use different terminology in Australia, but a pin or an avail is between you and maybe one or two or so other people. So with that, that's very exciting because now you're closer. It might be you. It might be you. And so honestly, I take those pins as wins because there's nothing else I can do in order to make them want me. Because sometimes it comes down to how tall you are. It comes down to the fact that you remind them of their ex-wife. It comes down to the fact that they have decided to go with this person because they've auditioned 10 times for NCIS and this 11th time they're finally going to give it to them. It comes down to so many other factors beyond me. So what I strive to do, and this is part of my me working on mastery, is that I do everything I can for a role so that if that no comes, there is nothing else I could have done to get that. You got to give it up to God right there. Now, when if I have not done my work, it stings. It stings because then I feel like I didn't get myself to that place of mastery where I feel so comfortable with the work that I know I gave it my all. Because if I did not give it my all, then that just definitely stings. And that's me going back to do a little bit more work on myself. And I'm still figuring out that process. I'm a big journaler, so a little bit of journaling is a thing that I've incorporated. A bit of reflection on like, okay, well, how do I do my process differently or better next time? So that's how I personally deal with rejections. And also a bigger, kind of overall thing with the no's and the rejections is going back to my own work. Because I can say yes to me. This is going to sound, it could sound like a little bit of ego, but this is honestly me stepping into the world I know I desire. One of the things with the vertical series that I look forward to being number one on the call sheet one day. So why not place myself as number one on the call sheet? Because that doesn't just mean that, oh, I'm paid the most and oh, it's all about me. No, it means that I held the responsibility of making sure this show has longevity so everybody else around me can still have a job. And I've watched that with our number one on Reasonable Doubt, and it's incredible the work that she does as an actor, as a mom, as a wife, to lift and volley this up for it to continue. And I look forward to having the day where my production company is looking like Hello Sunshine, where Reese Witherspoon is definitely number one on the call sheet. And she does an excellent job at championing female voices. She does an excellent job at championing different books to put onto the screen. She uses her position for good. And I know I have the capacity to do that. So those no's over there allows me to sit into the yes that I'm creating over here. And hopefully I can be somebody else's yes over there. I would love that. I would love that. A little bit more easy for me. But even that, I'm like, yeah, you say yes to me. That's going to continue to help to volley my presence and my visibility. So when I do have my production company that gets to that place, I can continue to champion other voices because my number one is going to be everybody else's number one too.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. And I think what you said at the start is, I think it is healthy. You mentioned briefly that like after 24 hours you let it go and you're like, okay, that's a no, and you put it out of your mind, and then you made this little comment like, I'm not sure if that's healthy or not, but that's what I do to get through. I think that is healthy. I think that protects your mental health. That protects you to know that you're not sitting there pining away. And then that's going to give feelings of like anxiety, stress, like, was I not good enough? Did I do it wrong? Like, that's going to self doubt, like all of those negative things that's going to sit with you if you don't let it go. So I think what you said first, and I just really wanted to highlight that and encourage you and say, no, 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 you've got that 100%. In that letting it go after 24 hours, I think is a healthy thing because you're protecting yourself, your mental space, knowing that you've done all you can do. You've given it 100%. You've given it all of your effort and energy, and you've been the best actress that you can be. You've given it all that you've got, and then you're absolutely right. Like if it's a no, then you're right. Majority of the time, from what I've heard from all other actors and things that I've experienced in the workplace, it's not you as a person. It's never you as a person. It's like you're just
Hmm.
not quite tall enough, or you just don't have the exact body frame that we're looking for, or you remind me of this other person and they didn't work well for me, so it's not, and it's never
Right.
anything personal. It's just the idea that they've already got in their head for the role that they're looking for.
Right.
It's never anything
Exactly.
personal. So the fact
Exactly.
that you take the 24 hours to then go, okay, that's a no, I'm going to put that aside. Then when it comes as a yes later, for reasonable doubt, when that call came later and they're like, oh, I wish she could have got it. She's such a good person. Let me see what I can do and let's follow that through. Then that would have been
Hmm.
an even more joyous moment and occasion for you to then go, it was something that I'd put aside for the sake of my mental health, for the sake of my profession, for the sake of my craft, my art, my love of everything. I put it aside for me. But
Hmm.
then to find out later that, you appeared, you got the callback, like, come in and let's figure this out, and then you landed a role would have been an even
Right.
more, exhilarating moment for you because you'd already done what
Hmm.
you needed to do to protect your mental health to put it aside. So then the joy that
Right.
you must have felt when they were like, yeah, let's have you on reasonable doubt. Here you go, would have been amazing.
Hmm.
Incredible experience.
Yeah, it was. It truly, was and continues to be. Yes.
Amazing. Tiffany, well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute blast talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Call it out. We've struggled through some internet issues. We've struggled through Zoom crashing on us. We've struggled through the doorbell ringing. We've had a great time on
Ignoring.
this call. We've had a great time today. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it. Y'all follow me on the socials and look out for that vertical series,
If
okay?
people want
Thank
to
you.
find you or follow you anywhere else, you have mentioned Instagram. Do you use any other social media for people to kind of find you?
TikTok.
Yep,
TikTok as well, and which is also Tiffany Yvonne Cox. You can find me on all the things Tiffany Yvonne Cox. And if you're looking for word of the year, remember, go to Instagram, click word on one of those posts, and you will get the word of the year.
beautiful, amazing. Thank you so much.